Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday. I'm trying to kind of showcase different videos, come up with different ideas. So, here's a little history video. Why not? I love history, so let's dive into this one. 27,000 U.S. troops storm Panama in one night, the invasion of 1989. See, I feel like this is good timing because of what's been going on in Venezuela, and we just did spread some American freedom over there. And I guess we can see what happened over here. I have an idea of what it is because I remember like we briefly talked about it, but I do remember when my teachers got to like 19 like got to like the late 70s, 80s, mainly 80s, 90s, they tend to just kind of like skip over that because like in their brains they don't consider that like history. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't really talked about as much as like, earlier stuff. So that's why I feel like videos like this are great. They're just going to give us a nice 26-minute clip and we can enjoy. So let's get into this.
1989, the invasion of Panama. 4 U.S. military officers take a wrong turn in Panama City. Panamanian troops open fire. Marine Lieutenant Robert Paz is killed. The dictator, Manuel Noriega,
We're going in there.
CIA asset turned rogue, had just declared war on the United States. 4 days later, 27,000 American troops launched a coordinated assault.
You fucked around and you found out. Just like what happened in Venezuela, bro. And you know what? And I think Colombia is talking shit right now too. And Colombia is about to find out as well.
Across
Go ahead.
Panama, the
Just
largest.
Colombia, whatever you do, I think it's Colombia, yeah. Whatever you do, just don't dance. Because that's how Moderna got. Jumped in like that. Moderna was mimicking his dancing. He didn't quite appreciate that, okay? If you just don't do that, you're good.
U.S. combat operation since Vietnam. Their mission? Dismantle his army, secure the Panama Canal, restore elections.
Low key,
and
we
bring the
never
dictator to justice.
should have given back the Panama
But as the
Canal.
night sky filled with paratroopers,
Just saying.
Noriega vanished. This is Operation Just Cause. The hunt for the man they called Pineapple Face.
What
If
is
you
his
want to
name?
understand why the United States invaded Panama in 1989, you have to start with the canal. Because the Panama Canal isn't just a waterway, it's the hinge of the Western Hemisphere. A shortcut that turns a 13,000-mile voyage around South America into a 40-mile sprint between oceans. Whoever secures the canal.
Built by the French, or I guess attempted to be built by the French, and then they couldn't do it, and then the Americans came in. He did it, or we did it. And we had to deal with like what is it? I want to say cholera. What is it? Yellow fever or swine flu, whatever they call that thing. I don't remember, but whatever mosquitoes give out, you know what I mean? I remember there's this big mosquito disease that a lot of people were getting. Malaria? Is it malaria? Like, I'm trying to remember, right? I don't even know. I'm probably saying random shit. But, yeah, there was a lot of crap that Americans had to deal with to get this bill. And this was, like, a very important strategic operation of the Americans. And that's why we had it for over 80 years. I believe it was started under Teddy Roosevelt. Let me double check my sources. My guess is Teddy Roosevelt. Saying that a little too confidently. Oh, bang, Teddy Roosevelt. I do know my history good. Whew, I was a little worried about that one. Yeah, because young Steven would have been very mad at me if I didn't get that. Yeah, 1904. He supported Panama's independence for Colombia. Because if you guys remember, that's the only reason why. Because Colombia had pretty much like Colombia and then like Panama, right? That was like their thing. I believe there was a king too at the time in Colombia. And we asked them originally, and we were like, hey, dude. Hold on, wait. He was like, hey, dude, would you guys mind if you let us build a nice little canal right here? Come on. You guys wouldn't care. And then Colombia was like, hell no, we ain't doing that. Sorry, get out of here, dirty Americans. And then we said, all right, oh, here's a convenient independence for you guys. And we like funded their military, typical U.S. We like threw a bunch of guns at them, let them figure it out, threw a few of our boats and troops over there. And then we took it over, and then we built this. And we had this for about 80 years. And then the reason why it became such a hot topic recently under Trump was because China was pretty much buying up military, like they're buying up a bunch of land right outside the entry points, and they were having a bunch of just building pretty much military base there, which is a no bueno for U.S. American interest, not in our half of the hemisphere. We don't want like we want to go mess with China. We don't want China in our backyard. You know what I mean? Like that's how we need to think of it as logic. You know?
Secures the flow of global trade and American naval power.
Oh
But
yeah.
building it? The French tried first in 1881, fresh off their triumph with the Suez Canal. Mudslides, engineering mistakes, and tropical disease killed tens of thousands of workers. The effort collapsed in bankruptcy and graves. Then, in 1903, came the United States, with better engineering, disease control, and logistics.
God bless our
Washington
USA.
bankrolled a Panamanian independence movement, funding rebels to break away from Colombia. U.S. Navy ships blockaded Colombian troops from intervening. In exchange for American support, Panama handed over the right
Remember Teddy Roosevelt built that upgraded the Navy? Was it the white Navy, the white arm or white boat? Yeah, white Navy or something like that.
to build, operate, and essentially govern a 10-mile-wide strip called the Canal Zone. The canal finally opened in 1914, and by the late 20th century, nearly 40% of all U.S. container traffic passed through it.
That's actually
For
wow.
decades,
Wow.
thousands of American families lived there. U.S. bases, U.S. schools, U.S. law. But by the
See, everything was good. You know what I mean? Everything was good. Why did we just stop? You know what I mean? I never understood that.
1970s, that political ground was starting to shake. In the 1960s and 70s, Panama was under the rule of General Omar Torrijos, a populist strongman who, nonetheless, managed to negotiate peacefully with Washington. The 1977 Torrijos-Carter Treaties promised that the U.S. would gradually hand over control of the canal by the year 2000, but
Never should have done
also
that.
guaranteed America the right to defend it from threats. On paper, stability was preserved. But lurking behind Torrijos was a man the world barely knew. A quiet, disciplined intelligence officer trained partly by the United States. A man who built files on his enemies
We have a tendency to train our adversaries.
and friends.
Just what we do here.
Whose nickname inside the Panamanian military was Pineapple Face. Manuel Antonio Noriega. Noriega entered the Panamanian National Guard in the 1960s after training at military schools in Peru and at the U.S. Army School of the Americas in the Canal Zone. Noriega became a key ally to Torrijos, assisting him in the 1968 military coup that overthrew President Arnulfo Arias. For his loyalty, he was quickly promoted to become Chief of Military Intelligence under Torrijos, a role that brought him into close contact with the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. He became a paid informant for the CIA, providing intelligence to the U.S. in its fight against communism, especially with
You know, we've done that from time to time. It happens. But hey, I always, agree, fight against communism.
Cuba and Nicaragua.
Cuba's about to fall, by the way. And now that we took Venezuelan oil, we're about to have Cuba. So we're about to have Greenland, Venezuela, and Cuba, all its colonies. Isn't that insane? Fuck it, let's take
When
Mexico
Torrijos
too.
died in a mysterious 1981
And then
plane
Canada.
crash, a crash many in Panama suspected Noriega was involved with, Noriega moved fast. Rivals disappeared, many were murdered outright.
It
In
happens.
1983,
Coups,
General
just how they
Noriega
go.
took full control of the Panama Defense Forces, or PDF, and began turning Panama into a personal fiefdom built on bribery, torture, and backdoor deals with drug cartels. Once seen as a useful asset during the Cold War, the relationship was a
See, it doesn't matter if you remove the United States, if you bring, if you guys self-govern, or if you remove, I would say, like, for Africa as an example, it's like if you remove the United Kingdom, same thing for India, you remove the United Kingdom. The corruption and the bullshit just all going to change to your own people doing it. So, that's what I was like, yeah, I mean, the United States wasn't great at it, but at the end of the day, I think we would have done a better job than all this crap.
about to implode. By the mid-1980s, General Noriega wasn't just a dictator. He was a liability. His intelligence service carried out surveillance, disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. Human rights groups estimate his regime was responsible for over 100 political murders and hundreds of disappearances. Then in 1985 came the crime that shocked the region: the abduction and decapitation of Dr. Hugo Spadafora, a beloved surgeon and fierce critic of Noriega. His mutilated body was left near the Costa Rica.
I've never understood why Latin America is really big on the decapitation part. Like, I've seen, like, cartel videos that when they, like, happen to appear on reels, they'll just be, like, some of the most gruesome ways to fucking die. Like, it's honestly, ugh. Like, there was one video of this guy, like, literally getting, like, they, like, cut off a part of his arm, like, on the video. They just, like, see it, like, slice it. And then they just, like, while he's screaming, put, like, gasoline on him and then lit him up. And I'm just like, dude, like, what is going on? And, like, I've never understood why, like, this type of, it's, like, so brutal in Latin America. And that's where I agree with why the United States should honestly take a bigger interest in what's going on in Latin America. It's just getting out of hand. Like, there's so much opportunity, so much growth that can happen, especially with business in South America. We'll be able to stabilize Venezuela, which is a great thing. I genuinely do believe this time around it will be better. I believe the people are going to be in a better spot. They're freed. I mean, regardless if they all, like, they probably don't want to lose their resources, but they understand. They'll give up the oil. And that's okay. That's sometimes how this shit goes. Like, we're a big country. We need a good supply chain with oil. It's going to benefit us Americans. So, guys, that's what people need to understand. Yeah, there's corruption. Yeah, there's probably some corporation bullshit that we can all complain about. But we should be able to get cheap gas, minus if you live in corrupt states like Illinois, California, New York. Good examples. Illinois' poverty. When Pritzker took over, our gas tax was somewhere around 18 cents, like, I believe a gallon or something like that. And now it's at like 47 cents. And we'll make a video on Pritzker and Mayor Johnson because I've been meaning to talk about that. They've been in the news a little bit recently.
Border. The message was clear: oppose Noriega and you die horribly. The brutality shocked Latin America and finally set off alarms in Washington. At the same time, U.S. intelligence uncovered extensive evidence tying Noriega to the Medellin cartel, helping smuggle cocaine north and launder cartel profits through Panamanian banks.
We were bombing boats back then, so it looks like we're no different now.
Cash into weapons, luxury residences, and private militias called dignity battalions, essentially street enforcers loyal only to Noriega.
Bro, you got the kid doing it?
In 1988, a federal grand jury indicted him on drug trafficking and racketeering charges. Suddenly, Panama wasn't a country anymore, and America's useful asset was now a wanted man. Yet he still commanded an army that held one of the most
just like someone that we all know, right? Sounds a little familiar.
important waterways on Earth. U.S.-Panama relations deteriorated fast. The Reagan administration made Noriega an offer: step down, leave Panama, and the U.S. would drop the drug charges. Vice President Bush opposed the deal publicly. Noriega refused. Instead, he cracked down harder. In May 1989, Panamanians went to the polls. International observers, including the Carter Center, confirmed that opposition leader Guillermo Endara won in a landslide victory, receiving 71% of the votes, compared to 28% for Noriega's hand-picked candidate, Carlos Duque. Noriega simply annulled the election and unleashed his dignity battalions to beat opposition.
Bro said, oh, we lost? Nah, we don't do that here. Send them out. Like, hey, are we really surprised? And that's why, like, and I honestly believe, like, if we did this for Venezuela instead of just going in there and getting rid of him, it probably would have been the same outcome. Like, the guy was not leaving. I believe he failed. Technically, he, like, frauded 2 elections. I mean, Venezuela had one of the. I think I mentioned this. I think I said like 18 billion. I think it was like, or not 18 billion. I think I said yeah. No, I think I said like millions or something like that. I said way too much. I think the numbers are more like 6 million barrels a year. I think I said a day too. I think it was like 6 million barrels a year. Um, what they were doing before Moderno, and then after he came in, they were doing like 3 billion, less than that. Billion. I did it again. 3 million barrels a year. 3 million barrels a year. Yep. Okay. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that. Sorry. Um, but yeah, no. So it's kind of crazy that there is like I'm kind of like watching this in the mindset of like, okay, like what's going on with Venezuela, thinking in that lens, and there is a lot of like just little similarities like that.
Opposition leaders on live television.
This is probably
Later
what would
that
have
year,
happened to an
with
extent.
US-backed assurances, one of his own officers, Major Moises Garoldi, tried a coup. It failed. Noriega executed him and the rest of the conspirators and purged the ranks, tightening his grip. The US began reinforcing its existing military garrison in Panama, increasing the troop presence and conducting exercises to prepare for potential intervention. Then,
Sounds,
December
like,
15th,
we did with
1989,
Venezuela.
Noriega delivers a speech announcing that Panama was in a state of war with the United States and declared himself the Jefe Maximo, or maximum leader. He declared that American lives were now legitimate targets, saying,
See, that's where bro fucked up, and that's where like Moderno was fucking up too. It's like, guys, don't threaten the United States like that. If you do, it's just gonna be an endgame for you. You're just done. Like, sorry, Denmark, don't play that game. Like NATO, they can all go sit down and be like, oh, the United States. We are deeply concerned about the United States speaking on Greenland. We are going to talk and discuss this. That's all it's going to be, talking and discussing, because they know they can't do anything at the end of the day, even if they all team up.
the
Won't matter.
bodies of our enemies would float down the Panama Canal, and the people of Panama would win control over the waterway. In a country where more than 35,000 US citizens lived, and where American troops protected the canal, that was a line no American president could ignore.
100%. You had to double down on that. How could you not double down on that as a president? It's like, yeah, you're going to be literally saying Americans are going to be targets, and we have 35,000 citizens. So 12, what did they say? 12,000 or 12,000? No, wait, did they say 12? I thought it was 1,200 soldiers, 12,000 soldiers. I think it was 1,200 soldiers. They have like stationed there along with their families. Like, come on.
Noriega
Don't play those
is the
games.
number one drug trafficker in the Americas.
I'm an ex-Marine. I think they should go down there and kick the hell out of Noriega. He's a drug-running son of a...
Keep in mind
Based.
that the U.S. CIA trained Noriega. He certainly seemed to have turned on the U.S.
I don't think it's the role of the United States government to be invading foreign countries every time we disagree with their
Come on, dude.
policies.
Dude, yes it is, because that is where our interest is. That is where our interest lies. If Panama, because of the Panama Canal, is an important asset of ours, that's why I believe we never should have given it up. Like shit like that, we should have just like, this is ours. Like, what do I don't know. I never understood why well, I do, because of this whole globalism push of like, the United States got put back in this like we don't do anything role. We're just happy-go-lucky. It's like, no, when the world's fucking up, we need to step in there and go fix it. Same thing, which is what happened here.
Troops in Panama have been put
Hopefully.
on a higher state of readiness.
I don't remember, so I guess
And
we're all
the,
watching
White
together.
House spokesman says that the president was informed of the incident last night, but there's no comment yet here from Washington.
It could
The
cheat
very
and look,
next
but
night,
like that's
December
not
16th,
fun.
1989, Noriega's threats became a reality. 4 unarmed U.S. officers returning from dinner took a wrong turn and drove into a PDF roadblock. When they tried to flee, Panamanian troops opened fire. Marine First Lieutenant Robert Paz was killed. A U.S. Navy officer and his wife, who witnessed the event, were detained. Interrogators blindfolded and beat the officer while pointing a gun to his head, while other guards sexually threatened his wife. The next day, President George H.W. Bush ordered the invasion.
Dog. My fucking dog. Look, I understand he was, he wasn't great in some areas, but you know what? When it came to fucking countries up, HW knew what he was doing.
For years, the Pentagon's
He
plan for
fucked.
Panama
He was just
codenamed
like, you know
Blue
what? Gulf War, just send our Air Force. Go blow them up.
Spoon was slow and cautious. To execute a rapid strike, President Bush replaced the existing commander with General Maxwell R. Thurman, known in the ranks as Mad Max, even though he was days from retirement.
This guy is actually has one of the, like, he is literally one of the most insane dudes to ever be a part of the military. And, like, you look at him there, you just think he's just some chill, happy, like, oh, dude, like, look how nerdy he looks. Nah, dude, this dude would fuck you up 3 ways. He would find 15 different ways to slice you up with just a pencil, probably. I'm telling you, this dude's an animal. Well, I'll find a good video on this so we can watch
in the
it.
ranks as Mad Max, even though he was days from retirement. Thurman scrapped the old plan. He demanded a new strategy of overwhelming surprise and force, renaming the operation
hard.
Just Cause. Thurman immediately put all 12,000 U.S. troops already in Panama into battle.
Was 12,000.
Increased patrols and accelerated the timeline from weeks to mere days. The military had 5 clear objectives: safeguard U.S. citizens, restore democracy by reinstating Indara, protect the Panama Canal, and bring Noriega to justice.
God bless America.
The massive movement of troops began on Tuesday, December 19th, the largest airborne operation since World War II. In Panama, U.S. soldiers moved into position. Over 27,000 U.S. troops, including U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard, were deployed against the PDF's 15,000 total troops, with only 4,000
This is
combat
insane.
soldiers. Over 200 aircraft, including massive C-141
Wow.
and C-5 transports, participated in the airlift, with F-15s and F-16s flying combat air patrols to deter any Cuban or Nicaraguan interference. General Carl Steiner, commander of Joint Task Force South, set H-hour for 0100 on December 20th
Goat.
to exploit the U.S. advantage of night fighting.
Dude, we've literally done that that's all we do. Same way in Venezuela, we win in the night. Best way to do it, stealth.
CBS News commented
While
on the
everyone's
deployment.
sleeping.
PDF headquarters began alerting units. Draw your weapons, get out on the field, start shooting when they come over. Block the runways. Due to detected PDF activity, Steiner accelerated his strike by 15 minutes. Operation Just Cause was launched at 00:4500 hours on December 20th, 1989, with simultaneous strikes on 27 key targets. The U.S. hit the ground in 3 major movements: airborne assaults to seize key airfields, direct strikes on Noriega's command centers, and special operation raids on high-value targets, prisons, and intelligence sites. At Rio Hato military airfield, home to 2 elite PDF battalions and the largest Panamanian Defense Forces base in the country, the attack began with something never seen before in combat: 2 F-117 Nighthawks. The stealth fighters dropped 2,000-pound laser-guided bombs 150 yards from barracks, not to kill the troops, but to stun them. Windows shattered. Soldiers stumbled outside, half-conscious. Seconds later, Rangers from the 75th Ranger Regiment quickly jumped from only 500 feet, parachuting into a swirling night battlefield. Bullets traced across the drop zone. The PDF troops fought hard, as these weren't conscripts, they were Noriega's best. It took 5 hours of close combat to secure the airfield. Over
God bless
250
America.
PDF soldiers surrendered.
They weren't going to beat us.
Meanwhile, at Torrijos-Carter International Airport, Army Rangers seized the runway, soon reinforced by waves of the 82nd Airborne
Yeah,
dropping
nice
in.
and the rest.
Unexpectedly, the arrival of a Brazilian airliner had just landed, trapping 376 international travelers inside the terminal, who were quickly taken hostage by Panamanian soldiers.
They were about to be going on vacation or maybe visiting some loved ones, and they're just like, man, and in 5 minutes we'll be landing at Panama International Airport. Thank you. If you look to your left, you will see the United States military there. They are looking pretty. Oh, and they're shooting at it. Oh, and you see the Oh, look, there's the friendly Panamanian guards, guys. Please, please, go run to them. They'll protect you. They'll be safe. Probably some misunderstanding going on over here. Like, just imagine, like, that conversation. Like, you're just, like, talking, like, you're all excited. And, like, Dad's got to go, sorry, Sally. Looks like we're going to be a hostage. Like,
The unexpected presence of hundreds of Portuguese-speaking civilians made the role of the attached civil affairs soldiers crucial, minimizing civilian casualties and negotiating their release. After a brief standoff, U.S. Army Rangers secured the terminal and successfully freed all the passengers. By dawn, the airport and the country's main logistics hub belonged entirely to the United States. To the west,
That's how we
at Paitilla
operate.
Airport, a force of 48 Navy SEALs launched one of the night's hardest missions.
48.
Destroy Noriega's private jet and gunboat, preventing any escape. Parachuting in with Zodiac boats,
like a Call of
they
Duty
landed
mission.
in the dark of night. Moments before the assault, a disastrous miscommunication occurred. The order to destroy the jet was suddenly changed to inflict only minimal damage, such as slashing tires and cutting wires. This vague mandate forced the SEALs onto the exposed tarmac to get closer to the plane than expected. Panamanian forces, already waiting, opened fire. The team was caught in a brutal crossfire. 4 elite SEALs were killed and 9 wounded in the minutes-long engagement. Amid the chaos, the SEALs reverted to their original plan. They destroyed the Lear jet with an AT-4 anti-tank rocket, eliminating the escape threat in one of...
So why the fuck was the command changed? Like, what? I'm wondering if maybe if there was like a potential like hack into their system. Like, you know what I mean? Like someone like just wiretapped them or something like that. Try to like throw them off. Because like, it makes... I'm happy that the SEALs reverted to their original plan
the
though.
deadliest nights in SEAL history.
Damn.
While the firefight raged at the airfield, 4 Navy SEAL divers executed a separate
Dude, this is
silent
an
mission beneath the
insane
dark waves,
operation.
swimming toward Noriega's heavily armed gunboat, the Presidente Porras. Using specialized rebreathers that eliminated exhalation bubbles, they planted explosives on the vessel's hull. But PDF guards noticed movement and opened fire, dropping grenades into the water and forcing the divers to take cover beneath a pier. The SEALs remained hidden until their charges detonated, successfully destroying the vessel. As they swam back to their rendezvous point, they heard a large ship approaching overhead, forcing them to descend to a dangerous depth of 40 feet, risking immediate toxicity from the pure oxygen from the specialized
Dude, I'm
rebreathers.
getting anxiety just like literally thinking about that. I'm just like freaking out, like, because like I'm like so terrified of the deep ocean like that. Like obviously like I can go out there, I can fish, whatever. I just, you know, wouldn't want to swim like that too long. And like just diving, doing all that, I just can't do that. That's just, I'm a land person, you know what I mean? I don't do ocean very well. I do lakes very good, and I do pools very well. Oceans, like I love going to the ocean, like I think they're beautiful, but I just like, I don't know, freaks me out. So the fact that these guys had to go deeper, and then there's like what my brain's thinking, like, okay, you're gonna get caught up in one of their propellers, like the water's gonna be turning, you're gonna get caught up in the current. Nah, dude.
Despite the danger, the divers survived. The gunboat was destroyed, and Noriega's sea escape was cut off. But the dictator himself was nowhere to be found. Next came the heart of Noriega's empire, La Comandancia, his fortress-like headquarters in Panama City. It instantly became a battlefield lit by tracer fire and tank rounds. Sheridan light tanks, airdropped for the first time in combat history, pounded the compound.
That's
The
insane.
AH-64 Apache helicopter saw its combat debut, destroying PDF positions with pinpoint
Really?
Hellfire
That was their
missile strikes.
debut?
Despite this, PDF fought back fiercely, downing 2 special operation helicopters and forcing 1 MH-6 Little Bird to crash land in the Panama Canal. The PDF and Dignity battalions made a strong stand, sparking a heavy 3-hour firefight. U.S. forces utilized AC-130 Spectre gunships for strafing runs that silenced PDF machine guns and bunkers, while 28 Army Green Berets successfully pinned down the fierce Tigers of Tinajita at the Pecora River Bridge, preventing PDF reinforcements from the east. The sustained assault reduced the headquarters to rubble, collapsing the PDF's command structure. Tragically, the fighting ignited massive fires that consumed the nearby El Chorrillo neighborhood. The
Happens.
resulting civilian destruction left thousands homeless and bodies in the streets, and sparked immediate international outrage.
that U.S. troops
guys, and this is what I. Sometimes, like, to do something good, some bad shit just happens. Doesn't make it right. That's just how shit goes. And I always understand, and it's like because we're the world superpower, everyone's gonna be like, United States, they suck. And it's like, well, someone's got to do it, and we have to protect our back door because that benefits all you guys as well. You don't want to see China or anybody else over there.
get out.
Concurrent with the attack on La Comandancia was Operation Acid Gambit. Just down the street stood Modelo Prison, where American Kurt Muse was held hostage for running anti-Noriega radio broadcasts. Moments before H-hour, 23 Delta Force operators were inserted onto the prison roof by MH-6 Little Bird helicopters.
Sick.
A nearby sniper team killed the lights by taking out a generator, leaving the prison pitch black. The Delta team breached the rooftop door with explosive charges, taking down PDF guards in seconds. After twice failing to shoot off the lock on Muse's cell door, a small C6 explosive finally blew it open. Muse
This would be
was
insane
freed,
to be in
rushed
this
back to the
mission,
roof,
bro.
and whisked into a helicopter. The entire operation taking only 6 minutes. But enemy fire found the aircraft with Muse on board, forcing a violent crash landing in the dark streets of Panama City. Delta operators use an infrared strobe light to signal an overhead gunship for cover. Within minutes,
It's one of those, for those who don't know, that's like a light that it doesn't actually like show, like, you know, it says infrared, like it doesn't actually like show up like a normal light, so it's like not visible to like us, but radar can see it.
an M113 armored carrier arrived to extract Muse and the entire retrieval team.
They have those on helmets as
Every
well.
man and
So like
Muse
when they do night
survived,
vision, they can
marking
see
one
who's
of Delta
who.
Force's most celebrated rescues. Following the initial assaults, Noriega was gone. But from somewhere in the city, his voice filled the airwaves, calling for resistance, urging his people to fight.
To all Panamanians, this is General Manuel Antonio Noriega. We are in our combat trenches. Greetings. We are going to keep up the resistance. Our rallying cry, we ask the world. We ask material aid from other countries. Men, dignity, strength. We ask the world for this help today, not to step backwards, and to come forward the victors.
For several days, Noriega successfully evaded U.S. forces, moving
Damn.
around Panama City, while
We were
troops searched
way
his
more
command
efficient with
centers,
Moderno.
his beach house, and even the villa of a mistress he was known to frequent.
Gotta check the
Searches
side
offered a
out.
glimpse into the dictator's bizarre world. His many residences were packed with evidence of corruption and superstition. Over $8 million in cash, an arsenal of weapons, valuable art, including a large painting of Muammar Gaddafi, Hitler figurines, and a large pornography collection. Most chillingly, soldiers recovered
what a
witch's diary
combination.
detailing sessions with Brazilian
Is
practitioners.
that Mein
Most
Kampf?
chillingly, soldiers recovered a witch's diary detailing sessions with Brazilian practitioners of black magic, intended to grant him protection. The dictator remained at large for 4
He was in all the
agonizing
dark
days.
arts.
But on the 5th day, a major break. Noriega made a critical phone call to Monsignor Laboa at the Vatican Embassy, the Apostolic Nunciature, seeking refuge and threatening to wage a bloody guerrilla war if refused. Given only 10 minutes to decide, Laboa gambled. He allowed Noriega to enter, but secretly intended to convince him to surrender rather than grant political asylum. On Christmas Eve, Noriega, accompanied by 4 officers, surrendered their weapons and walked into the embassy. The dictator was sequestered in a peaceful yet inescapable room, spending his time reading the Bible and desperately trying to arrange passage to Cuba or Spain. The U.S. Army immediately surrounded the compound. To avoid violating international law with a direct assault, General Thurman ordered a psychological operation known as the Music Siege. The Fort Psychological Operations Group erected massive speakers and blasted relentless rock music at the embassy.
So they were like, play the Satan music, play the Satan music to the Vatican people. Fuck him up. Oh my! You know, that's it's kind of impressive, actually. I'm gonna be honest. You know, it's kind of simple, Like, you wouldn't, you'd think we'd come up with some crazier plan, but no, just sound warfare. Messes up with the way they think. They can't sleep well if it's just playing all the time.
While also creating a sound barrier to prevent reporters from eavesdropping on sensitive negotiations with Laboa.
That's smart.
The sound barrier became a continuous, 24-hour high-volume broadcast of music. Tracks like Panama by Van Halen,
Goat.
Welcome to the Jungle from Guns N' Roses,
Goat.
and Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley,
Goat.
blasted non-stop. The music drew sharp international condemnation from the Vatican and the diplomatic community. Viewing the tactic as irritating and petty, President George H. Bush expressed concern. General Powell subsequently ordered General Thurman to stop the rock music on December 29th. At General Powell's urging, Panamanian Democratic leaders appealed directly to the Vatican. The Panamanian bishops, after
John
reviewing
Paul?
Noriega's residences and learning
Great
about his
Pope.
practice of witchcraft and
My
voodoo
favorite
from his
Pope.
witch's diary, wrote to Pope John Paul II, detailing his crimes
The People's
and urging
Pope.
his release. The final pressure and surrender came on January 3rd, 1990. A crowd of 10,000 people formed a massive anti-Noriega rally near the embassy. Monsignor Laboa gave Noriega an ultimatum: leave voluntarily or lose diplomatic immunity. If U.S. troops don't enter, an angry mob might. After 10 days of humiliation and fear, Noriega finally conceded. At 8:45 p.m. on January 3rd, 1990, Noriega walked out, was immediately handcuffed by U.S. troops, and was arrested by DEA agents on existing federal drug trafficking indictments.
So same thing as Moderna, pretty
He
much.
was found guilty and spent decades in prison, returning to Panama in 2011 for the remainder of his sentence, jailed for murder, corruption, and embezzlement during the military's 30-year rule, eventually passing away in 2017. Guillermo Endara, the rightful election winner whom Noriega tried to beat into silence, was sworn in under U.S. protection during the invasion's opening hours. From invasion to capture, it took only 42 days, but not without a cost. American casualties totaled 23 killed, with over 300 wounded, with 2 dead and 19 wounded as victims of friendly fire. While PDF losses were 314 dead and thousands captured, civilian deaths remain heavily disputed. Official Pentagon figures estimate around 200 civilian deaths.
We're better than thousands.
Physicians for Human Rights claimed over 300,
Okay.
while the New York Times estimated thousands. The destruction around
Okay,
El
New York
Chorrillo,
Times, how does
where
that happen?
Comandancia burned, left thousands homeless. Looting erupted as the PDF collapsed. Stores and banks were ransacked. Street gangs filled the vacuum until U.S. troops restored order. Panama began the long road back to democracy.
1 year ago, the people of Panama lived in fear under the thumb of a dictator. Today, democracy is restored. Panama is free.
What do you guys notice about that? Both sides of the aisle are cheering for that. What happened to our country? Because I see something like this, and it really is kind of, for at least a young guy, it's not right. Like, our politicians should be able to find a medium somewhere. And it's ridiculous and it's childish that they don't. And, like, yeah, I know some of them are friends outside, which is great. But the way these parties act as, like, a collective now, it's disgusting. It's not, come on, you got to be a little respectful. I'm not saying you can't be a little obnoxious from time to time, but you guys got to have some class.
But the world, its reaction was anything but unified.
They're always going to hate
The
it.
United Nations and the Organization of American States both condemned the invasion as
Ooh.
a violation of sovereignty.
Who
Yet
cares?
for many Panamanians brutalized under Noriega, the collapse of the regime was an immense relief.
Wow. So it's just like Venezuela. Everyone else is like, oh my God, shame on the United States for freeing the people of Venezuela. You guys are horrible. You should put back the dictator. And then right here, same example. Shame on America for freeing Panama. Shame on you guys. You guys should put the dictator back. And it's like, guys, what are we like? You guys just like lost all common sense to like you can't even see a dub when there's a dub. Even if maybe like look, we don't know how the country's going to work with a democracy. Like that's the thing. Like the future is open. There's a lot can happen. But at the same time, like the people at least have a chance versus they had no opportunity before. So isn't it better just having a chance rather than none at all? I don't know. Liberals will have a hard time figuring that one out.
The canal transitioned peacefully to
not all
Panamanian
liberals, though.
control
There
in
is some common sense
1999,
ones, but the problem is there's
generates
not a
over
lot.
$3 billion annually today. The country has maintained a stable democracy for over 3 decades, with regular elections, peaceful transitions, and no return to military rule.
Look at that. Worked out great.
When the Marines and paratroopers returned home in early 1990, the Berlin Wall was falling. The Soviet Union was dissolving, and America was entering a new chapter. One where quick, decisive interventions
We are
would
the
define
global
US military
superpower
doctrine.
after Soviets
Just
fell.
months later, many of the same units, Rangers, SEALs, the 82nd Airborne, and Delta Force, would deploy again, this time to Saudi Arabia as part of Operation Desert Shield. Some view Just Cause as a dangerous precedent for unilateral intervention. Others see it as necessary justice. But the operation sent a clear message. The United States would defend the canal, protect its citizens, and not tolerate a drug-funded dictatorship in its backyard. Panama was small,
And that's what we're
but
doing
its
now.
lessons were profound, for better or worse.
Was it all worth it?
I don't know how to answer that because I tell you, war is not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, humanity having the ability that God has given us, we should be able to solve things without conflict.
Agree.
And so there's one element that pulls on me saying, you know, war is never worth it. But on the other side, I feel that that could not have been solved in any other way. And I feel
Also
that,
agreed.
That it was necessary.
I really feel in my heart after being here working with the Panamanian people is Dios bendiga Panama.
Love that.
If you enjoyed this journey through history, consider subscribing to Clear and Present History for more documentaries, biographies.
We're going to
untold
probably watch
stories
another
from
one
the
of these
past.
videos.
To
This is
support our
great.
mission, please leave a comment and press the like button. We also want to hear from you. If you believe that understanding history helps make sense of the world today, consider joining our YouTube membership. Together, we'll connect with fellow historians, host in-depth interviews,
Hey, $4
live
a month isn't
streams,
too bad.
and thought-provoking discussions. Together, we'll preserve the hard-won wisdom of the past, because tomorrow's world depends on the lessons we pass on today.
That was a great video, and I believe that there was a lot of correlation that you could easily make from what happened in Panama and what happened in Venezuela. And look, Panama is doing good now. They're in a good spot. I mean, yeah, we've had there was a whole little corruption thing that came out about the Panama Canal with some of the people making a little money from the top. But that's why the United States has, renewed our interest back in the canal. Like, there's some things, as much as I want America to be primarily focused on American first, there's just some foreign policy things that we can't just forget about. And defending our back, it's one thing leaving like crap across the world. It's another thing when it's in our backyard. And we have to fix America, in my opinion, has done really bad fixing Latin America. They really haven't done a good job. Like, Mexico's been a shit show. Most of South America was a shit show for years. I mean, Argentina was financially great, but there was a lot of dictators. Brazil was hit or miss. I mean, the list goes on. A lot of these South American countries really just need us to go in there and just kind of fix it. And we should kind of do that because it just would benefit everyone, just for the world, if those countries clean up their act and if we can actually go after cartel members. Because here's the thing and how I view it. It's one thing for us locking up like the local thugs and streets, guys here. But that's not ultimately going to really fix the core issue. Like, you got to go for the head, right? Yeah, like those guys are just dogs. Like, they're just doing whatever they're told. They're getting paid. I mean, they're expendable. That's why the cartels really don't care about them. So us going after Moderno, who literally was in charge of all of that drug trafficking in his country. Yeah, we go after him, and then we can now have free reign and go in the country and go after the other cartels if they haven't probably fled already. You know what I mean? So if we can go in there, clean up Venezuela, then we can go in Colombia, clean up Colombia, and then we can go through the rest. I mean, Chile's in a good spot. They're chilling. I know their president is really pro-Trump. So, yeah, we'll watch more of these videos. This guy makes great videos. Definitely subscribe to him if you haven't. Great content. If you guys like my videos, you want to watch more of my reactions or just whatever content I have on there, please subscribe to my channel. Like for more. Comment if you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, overall thoughts. I always appreciate reading your, I always try reading your comments, and I always appreciate you guys doing it. So, anyway, guys, thank you. Have a good one. Be safe. Don't be stupid. Peace out.